Hi, I'm Miri, and Big Hit Entertainment just sent me these and this. The other day when I asked on Twitter if anybody had any questions, I got a lot of questions about fandom things related to fan signs or going to broadcasts or this and that. So I figured those questions could probably warrant their own video. I feel like I can talk at length about some of those things, so I decided that this would be one video, and then the life and teaching and going to school in Korea video would come at a different time. So the first thing that people wanted to know about was fan signs. How to get into fan signs, how do fan signs work, that kind of thing. Fan signs are held not necessarily by the idol's company, but they're held by bookstores, because bookstores in Korea often sell CDs as well. So a fan sign will be hosted by a specific location of a specific bookstore. In order to apply for a fan sign, in the case of a first come, first serve fan sign, all you have to do is show up, buy one album during the given buying period, and if you're one of the first 100, 120, 150 people to buy an album, then you're automatically in. If you don't make it in those first 100, 120, 150, then unfortunately you're out of luck and you'll have to wait for the next one. So those ones can be both a blessing and a curse. Usually the groups that have first come, first serve fan signs are smaller groups. They don't have as many fans, so there's not as much competition. But on the other hand, of course, if you can't get there right away or the albums are all sold really quickly, then that can be fairly disappointing as well. The other kind of fan sign that is I think more common in my experience is lottery, which is basically a raffle style. So you'll go to the specific bookstore location, you'll buy as many albums as you want to. There's no upper limit for how many you can buy. For some bigger groups like EXO, people will buy hundreds. Usually they're group orders. It's not like one person is buying 150 albums. So you'll go to the bookstore, you'll buy as many albums as you want, and then you'll fill out your name physically on a piece of paper. You'll fill out your name, your birthday, and your phone number, and then you'll actually enter yourself in a raffle to have your name drawn to go in the fan sign. Obviously, the more albums you buy, the more entries that is for the fan sign. So if you buy enough albums, you can kind of rig it so that you have a better chance of getting in, which is what myself and many of my BTS fan friends do. You do have to make sure that you actually fill out the form. If you don't fill out the form, your name cannot be drawn. You absolutely cannot win. So after you apply, you wait. And usually the results of fan signs are announced on the night that buying closes. So let's say your buying is open from Monday to Friday in a week, then the announcement will be on that Friday night, usually an hour or two after the bookstore closes, and then the fan sign itself will be either on Saturday or Sunday of that week. So you don't have very long to wait, thankfully. In order to find out whether you got in, the bookstores will post a list of the winners' names on their website or blog in some cases. So you just have to look it up. You have to find the blog and you have to search for your name, either by name or by the last 4 digits of your phone number. If you got in, congratulations, you go to the appropriate location. Usually you can start getting a number for seating an hour to half an hour, usually an hour before the fan sign actually starts. If you didn't get in, then unfortunately you'll have to try again next time. At the actual fan sign, after you get your number, you go in, you get settled, and then you wait. There is a lot of waiting that goes on at fan signs. For the usually 30 to 45 seconds that you get with every member of the group, you then will spend usually 2 to 2.5 hours waiting. So there's a lot of downtime. Depending on where you are in the venue, where you are in line for going up, it could be almost no waiting and then you go up and then you wait forever until the end, or you wait a really long time until your turn and then don't wait very long until the end, which is my preferred scenario. I don't like going early in fan signs. They do fan signs row by row. So they call up the first row of people, they'll line them up, and then they'll go through one at a time. Usually when they're about halfway through that row, they'll call up the next row to start preparing to go up and get in line as well. And you just go one at a time. You kneel, you get your album signed, you make small talk, conversation, whatever. You move on. The fan staff will often help move you on. if they think that you're taking too long. And then you're done. You go back to your seat and you sit and you try to get over the shock of having just spoken to the idols that you like. And that's basically how fan signs go. The second thing that someone wanted me to talk about was getting into broadcasts. So for BTS, BTS has levels of priority for their fans. They have 5. The first 2 are for official ARMY. The second 2 are for leveled up members of the fan cafe who are not official ARMY. And the 5th is for people who are neither official ARMY nor leveled up members of the fan cafe. I've only ever signed up as priority 1 because I'm official and leveled up and I have all of the requirements. So your mileage may vary when it comes to sign up procedure, but this is how it goes for me, is that usually the night before for a 30-minute period, you'll have a special board on the fan cafe and it'll be called like blah, blah, blah date and then music show name and then priority 1. And when that board opens exactly at 8, it's like a race to see who can post their comment the fastest. Because the order that you post your comment is the order that you'll go into the broadcast hall to see the pre-recording or to see live. There's so many official ARMY that everybody who goes into pre-recording, everybody who goes into the broadcast are official. So if you're not official or if you're a lower level of official, then you basically know that you're not going to get anything. After you get your numbers, so the fan cafe staff will go through and they'll give numbers to everybody who has signed up in the order that they signed up, and then you'll get your number. The day of the broadcast, you show up usually 2 to 2.5 hours before the pre-recording starts, and then you line up according to that number that you got. And then the fan staff will come through, they'll check that you have all of your requirements. For BTS, you had to have pink and white versions of the albums with the CDs included. You have to have ARMY Bomb. You have to have your official ARMY card. You have to have a Melon printout proving your digital download. You have to have a photo ID. The fan staff will come through, they'll check that you have all of those things, and then they'll give you a number on your wrist that is your priority and then your number in line. Sometimes people don't show up, so it's entirely possible that your number will move up 30 people, 50 people. I have known people who have moved up 75 numbers in line because a lot of people in front of them just didn't come. Then, according to those numbers, you'll be let in to see pre-recording. Usually, depending on the venue, between 350 to 500 people will be let in to see the pre-recording. If you're not in those first 500, then probably you're not going to get in. And a lot of people just go home after check-in because they know that there's no way. You go in, they do a camera take, they do 3 or 4 reel takes, and then you're done. Pre-recording usually only lasts about 30 minutes for all of that waiting that you do. And then if you're in the lucky first 50, maybe, you'll get to go into live, so you'll have to come back later. But obviously for the majority, that's not the case, so they just go home after the pre-recording is over. Unless there's a fan meeting, in which case stick around. The next thing that somebody asked me about was how do fanlight waves and projects work? And they mentioned specifically Cassie and Elf. I've never been to a Super Junior concert, I've never been to a TVXQ concert, so I can't really speak specifically about those fan clubs, but I do know that banner projects are often organized by fans, like a coalition of fans, in advance enough that they get in touch with the staff of the venue, and sometimes they even go so far as to have the banners and light stick materials waiting for fans in their chairs when they get into the venue. So they prearrange all of that. That's not always the case. Sometimes banners are handed out outside the venue to as many people as they can reach before people go in. But there have been cases where I've gone to concerts and found like a light stick taped to the bottom of my chair, which obviously requires some level of coordination with the venue itself so that people aren't being confused about how to get a light stick or where to get a light stick, etc. And that ensures a really high level of participation because fans don't have to exert very much effort to make it happen. The last question that somebody had was about getting into fan meetings. So fan meetings usually come in one of 2 forms. The first kind is a ticketed fan meet, like BTS's Muster, for example. Those fan meets involve tickets being sold on some kind of website like Yes24 or Interpark. You sometimes will have to verify your fan club membership before you buy the ticket. That's been the case for BTS because they have separate sales for fan club members and non-fan club members. sometimes it doesn't matter. They'll just let whoever they want, whoever wants to buy tickets, buy tickets. So it depends on the group. The other kind of fan meeting is a broadcast fan meeting, which usually only happen in the first or last weeks of a group's promotion. And those ones just take place after pre-recording or after the live broadcast of the music show, the last music show or first music show that they perform on. So those ones, you follow the same procedure as you would to sign up for the broadcast, except then after the broadcast, according to the number that you got, you'll go to the fan meeting location and you'll sit in order, and then you'll have the fan meeting. So there's really not, it's basically either like ticketing for a concert or it's like lining up for a broadcast. So I think that's everything that anybody wanted me to talk about. If you have any more questions or if you have anything you're curious about, just let me know on Twitter or in comments. And hopefully soon I will make another video about life in Korea, life as a foreigner in Korea, and then I had some questions about teaching as well. So I will see you guys soon, and thanks for watching!